hospital, and he is banned from seeing his former patients as well.
So what happened? The courts issued the temporary injunction after First Coast Cardiovascular Institute filed suit against Dr. Imran Ansari for quitting the group. But the mayor and hospital chief of staff says this will reduce the standard of care. Ken Amaro is on your side tonight looking into the issue and how it affects patients.
That's correct, Anthony. In 2004, First Coast Cardiovascular Institute recruited Dr. Ansari to serve Putnam County. In March 2017, he quit the group, knowing his contract had restrictions. So FCCI sued him to impose those restrictions. Dr. Imran Ansari's new office is off Highway 17 South. He moved there 3 months ago.
Oh, I'm so glad he moved.
Susan Lippincott is one of his patients puzzled by a recent court ruling.
I think it's just crazy.
She says First Coast Cardiovascular Institute warned her not to follow Dr. Ansari.
They've even called me and told me that they would not refill any of my medications unless I came back to see them.
At issue is a court temporary injunction with a number of restrictions.
They restricted me from working in the hospital. Now, in the city of Palatka, there's only one hospital that exists.
It also prohibits him from having contact with former patients.
So it now starts to encroach on the civil liberties of patients by asking the patients that those patients who have chosen me to follow with me are asked to be pushed back or sent back to the former group against their will.
Attorney Terrell Hill is Palatka's mayor.
I just think that it serves an injustice on our community as a whole.
Hill is also co-counsel for Dr. Ansari in this case, and he's a patient of the doctor.
Over 3 years, he's helped to raise the standard of care.
As attorney, Hill is appealing the injunction.
We believe that the restrictions placed in the injunction exceed the restricted covenants that were in the original contract.
As mayor, he says prohibiting the doctor's privileges at the only hospital may be damaging.
You know, we're not talking about services for dry cleaning. We're talking about services that may be the difference between life and death for individuals.
The hospital's chief of staff, in a letter to the court, said restricting Dr. Ansari's privileges will reduce the standard of care in Putnam. I therefore request you reinstate his privileges at Putnam Medical Center.
This is right now forcing a patient not to have a choice. Isn't that kind of un-American?
No, I reached out to Michelle Bedoya Barnett. She is counsel for First Coast Cardiovascular Institute. She said, in part via email, FCCI is simply seeking to uphold a contractual agreement entered into between the two parties at the time Dr. Ansari was hired. Dr. Ansari has been able to provide outstanding care to FCCI patients because he's been at all times supported by a team of other cardiologists and staff that have made FCCI a leader in cardiac care in North Florida. She says they will push for a permanent injunction. The entire statement can be read in this story on firstcoastnews.com. Back to you.
Ken Amaro on your side tonight. In St. Johns County, authorities are trying to